Welcome to the Jon Krawczynski Show here on Talk North, brought to you by Aquarius Home Services, Lexus of Wyzetta and Maplewood, TSR Injury Law, Chew Vision, Lamb Chops, and Great Clips. We are here at Forgotten Star Brewery in Fridley. It's the first time we're doing a live show here. We're going to have many more of these coming out. So really thanks everyone to coming out to join us here. We have our special guest, Timberwolves President of Basketball Operations, Tim Connelly. Tim, thanks for coming out, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. This place is super cool. Never been. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, we got a bunch of my family here. My great uncle used to work here. Went back in the World War II kind of area when they had munitions and everything going on here. So a lot of history involved and stuff. So
really cool. It's a great building. It's awesome.
Year 5 for you here in Minnesota, your family. Like, does it feel like it's flown by? Does it feel like it's gone really slowly? What's the feeling overall?
It's been a blast. I mean, we didn't know what to expect, but beyond the basketball, which has been more, good than bad, we have a long way to go. But just the community, the state, meeting all these cool people. Our kids love it. We say back home for us is Baltimore and D.C., and our kids like, let's go back home to Minnesota. So we've been very fortunate. It's been cool. It's been really cool.
What have you learned kind of the most, or what's kind of struck you the most as being now a Minnesota resident and staying here for as long as you have now?
I think it's much bigger than I thought. Relative to basketball, it's a super educated fan base. Cynical. And
no, not these guys. Come on.
A bit downtrodden for good reason, but really educated. And then what we were kind of most blown away by is kind of the sense of community, how philanthropic, how much people care. Like the schools are great, and the parks are great, and they have all these cool community-specific events. I mean, like what specifically this year, what we saw deal with the ice garbage, to see how the community kind of stepped up. So, I didn't from afar. I just thought Minnesota was like some random Midwest city, and it's just so much soul, and it's a lot of unique things to it. So we've been really impressed and quite frankly blown away relative to what we thought we were getting ourselves into.
I know that you and the fam are big foodies. Like you got a spot.
I mean, like mid-level 6 restaurants. Foodies suggest we like white tablecloth.
But where do you go when you want a meal that you like and you're going to get taken care of?
Oh man, there's so many. Me and my wife's favorite spot is probably Ganoi. They got the amazing wings, and we really like ethnic food. We've gotten into Vinai recently. There's so many good spots, man. I would embarrass my wife and ask her for more names, but I think if we have like a free night without the kids, we're trying to get some type of ethnic food, and we've really got into Ganoi. Nice.
Got any kind of Minnesota accent creeping in yet? A little you betcha here or there, or no?
No, I still haven't. I don't golf. I don't ice fish. I still don't call it the U. So there's a lot of things I gotta do to catch up to be a real Minnesota person, but no accent. But I like beer. That's a very uniquely Minnesota thing. Yeah,
fit right in here. Absolutely. Cheers.
Yeah.
Okay, so we look at this summer. Ants freestyle in the Philippines. The team's getting together in Paris. Like, just how do you sum up like what you're seeing from your guys this summer so far?
Yeah, I was just made aware of the freestyle recently, but hey, it's a game. It's supposed to be fun. I think when you see him in particular, he's driven by fun. Competition at the highest level, obviously, but he doesn't want to treat it like it's a quote-unquote a real job. So I love seeing the guys have fun. What Rudy and Melo did to allow our whole team to go to Paris was really impressive and reflective of their leadership. And I think the more you like each other, the better you play. So I think it's been a great summer. Unfortunately, we lost guys that are really important to us. Trade Nas sucked. He's there's not a better person in the world, and a guy that cares so much about the team and the city. Julius was fantastic. Even we were hopeful Mike was going to come back, and we lost him to Boston. While Joe Ingles didn't play that much, you've been around.
Yeah.
His voice is super important. So every summer is bittersweet. You're trying to improve and try to get better. We're super amped about what Melo's going to do. He's really taken to Minnesota. He's got a house. He's presently at his pool right now. Just got a emoji filled text message about his pool. So yeah, who knows? We're crossing our fingers. We think bringing someone in like Melo and bringing him into the culture that Chris Finch has created and being around the positivity and the same, being on the same age curve. And he's one of the few guys in the NBA that actually makes people better. So that was a real focus this offseason. How can we ensure that our guys are getting better? How do we both support them and protect them? And, cross our fingers. We've had a good couple years with the core, so it's going to be a much different team come October. And hopefully it's a team that can go a little bit deeper than we have thus far.
This was a good competitive team last season that I think largely had good chemistry, but there were times where you're just wondering, man, are they fully connected? Do they get a little moody? How do they ride that wave? What do you think like a trip to Paris with pretty much the entire team shows about what these guys are trying to do going forward to build even stronger bonds and like stay together?
Yeah, I think last year it was, to me, it was like tantamount to a win. After the win, you don't feel great. If that makes sense. So we had a very good year relative to our expectations, but there was too many, I think, ups and downs, and a lot of it was our emotional maturity. And we have all great guys. We have all great guys now. The guys that are no longer with us are A+ human beings, A+ professionals. But I think what's kind of neat about the Parisian trip is seeing, as we want to surround Ant with leadership and maturity, but as he gets older, it's going to be, at some point, he's got to step up, right? At some point, the leader's going to be him. And I thought he stepped up in tremendous ways. He organized the trip. Him and Rudy, shockingly, have slightly different tastes in what they want to do. The restaurants were, I don't know if everyone hit all the same restaurants Rudy wanted to hit. I'm not sure if Ant's a big fan of like foie gras and tartare and Chablis LeBlanc from 67. But I think it's just reflective of a team that knows that the more connected they are off the court, the more connected they be on the court. We got a bunch of homebodies. Most of our guys live here full time, and we have to kind of, it's funny because these guys are young. For Paris, them didn't really resonate. So it was neat to see Ant talk these guys into it, said, I got you, or Rudy, hey, I'm going to pay for this, or Melo. And by all accounts, they just had a blast. They were, FaceTime, sending videos or texting. And it was really neat. They did it on their own. We didn't help. There was no team interjection. So, it can't hurt being in Paris for free. It sounds pretty fun.
Yeah. I imagine like Rudy is a very prideful guy. He really enjoys where he's come from and takes great pride in like his journey all the way up there. To have all of his guys come to his hometown and kind of enjoy has to be pretty empowering for him as he gets a little bit later in his career, but seeing the way that these guys are willing to come out and see him in his backyard is probably a good sign going forward here.
Yeah, you've got to know Rudy pretty well.
Yeah.
There's no cooler guy in the world. I'm not sure we share all the same worldviews or same conspiracy theories, but as a dude, he's just a great guy, and his work ethic's insane. When he shot that crazy shot in Game 7 versus Denver, like it's actually a shot he practices. Scarily enough, not with us, but he has all these really bright people around him trying to ensure his body's in tip-top shape. He has a great basketball trainer. He's got this wonderful group around him. So I don't think he takes so much crap, and all he's done is won. I don't think he's missed the playoffs. Going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he's a great guy. So I think he's really, he has a sense of pride that he's at this point of his career where he's kind of the vet, and he's the guy that can kind of educate some of the younger guys and take care of your body and commit to the craft. But if you see how hard he worked every day, coupled with his his pretty dark sense of humor, he's a hard guy not to like.
When with the way that LaMelo can actually throw a lob pass, that seems to be pretty advantageous considering that there wasn't hardly anyone on this team that could do that for the last 4 years that Rudy's been here.
Yeah, I don't think it's just us. I think passing's become a thing in the past, unfortunately. I think, 2 more beers, I really go into this. Like, John's heard this rant for hours. I think there's so much focus on early specialization and want-to-know development where, like, you got to play to learn how to pass. Like, you can't learn how to pass. So everybody in the NBA right now can snake dribble. Everybody can, shoot in and out, three-pointer. Everyone can step back. But to be able to pass and make people better, you got to play constantly. So Melo, he's 13, 14, playing with 18, 19-year-olds. He's going to Lithuania. He's going to Australia. He's seen all these different schools of basketball. So he actually can – some guys can pass. He can actually play make. He can pass you into an open shot. You see the impact he had last year. I think after the New Year's, they had number 1 offense in the league, top 5 defense. The impact he had on his teammates last year. Guys were shooting 8-9% lower when he was off the court. So I don't think he gets enough credit for his ability to make others better. And then specific to, I think, our struggles to kind of find Rudy as a lob threat, I think that's endemic in the league, unfortunately. And thankfully, we have a guy right now that's pretty good at it.
What's just kind of been your initial impressions of LaMelo just now that he's in town, like he's around the building? And I know that you really liked him for years, and to actually have him here and like just the presence and getting to know him more intimately here.
I think the thing that's been most impressive, and it was consistent, we talked to, 7 or 8 of his teammates, talked to a bunch of his coaches, Lithuania, Australia. The consistent opinion was the guy has no bad days. And when he got off the plane, we have Free over here, it's, one of my colleagues in the PR department. He gets off the plane, hey, what's your name? Nice to meet you. And then a day later, he remembers everyone's name, and that's not always common with the NBA. So I think his positivity has thus far been completely consistent, and that's been consistent with everything we heard about him. Like, he has no bad days. I think in the NBA, look, you play 82, you can't play 82 good games. It's the best job in the world, but it still can be brutal. You get in at 3 a.m, you're playing in half-empty arenas at times. And for a guy like that to play with such joy, I think beyond the basketball fit with Ant, I think Ant is most responsive to joy and fun. And to have those two as a backcourt, we couldn't be more excited.
When the whole deal started to come together on that draft night going into the next day, like, what was just your overall reaction to finally feeling like, hey, there was something to do here? Like, after kind of checking in with Charlotte a few times over the years, that, hey, finally you were in position where maybe you could make something happen.
99% of the calls turned into nothing. You're just calling a call, and our industry, my industry in particular, has become so risk averse. They're so concerned about like real time analysis from guys like Jon.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I will kill you either way.
I know social media. I've heard. I haven't read it, but I've heard. We're still friends though. But in all reality, I think Jon and I talk about this over beers. It's like there's this: either you're trying to win, you're chasing that. Occasionally, you can rebuild if the years it presents the proper year, and you have a Wembanyama, have a transcendent superstar. But I think the frustrating thing about our league right now is I think too many teams are trying to survive and trying to be in between. So you make these calls, and we had no expectation that we could acquire a guy like Melo, especially after the second half of the season they had. We had talked to a couple other teams about bigger trades, and then it's we traded a great player and a great guy in Nas. Is it worth it? It's not easy. And it's the whole concept of trading a person's gross. So you factor that in. Like I gave Nas, his agent, a heads up. Hey, there's a couple. You're going to see your name here and there. We did the same thing with Giannis. Talked to 4 or 5 guys. You're going to see your names here and there. As the case with most trades, I don't think it's going to happen. But your name has been bandied about heads up. And the Melo one just happened so rapidly. So I didn't really think it was going to come to fruition until probably late the night prior to the deal. And then we kind of shook hands at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. The next day.
I remember like that round one that day didn't exactly unfold the way probably you wanted it to.
It was a little different.
and so to like shift from kind of the way that all played out to all of a sudden you're getting the guy that you've really wanted. Like what was the transition for you just in terms of mindset about what this team has and what it can be going forward?
Well, I think until we win the championship, you just got to keep shuffling cards. And I don't think we can be fear-driven. I mean, one of the few upticks of having a team that doesn't have the proudest history is you should be unafraid to swing. And if it doesn't work, then it's my job, and then I'll get fired. And that's fine. But I don't ever want to be in a position where we're reluctant to take swings. Our market's done such a great job. Our fans have been amazing. We've become a place now that guys want to come. Was not the case, 5, 6, 7 years ago. So you're able to have these conversations that we weren't able to have. Like when we acquired Rudy, we put the top 25 players on the league on a whiteboard and said who would come here without his agent calling and saying, I'm not coming to Minnesota. It was a small group, and now the group is much bigger. So I think we had the Julius. There's the realities of the first and second apron, right? We've been a tax team for the last couple of years, so there's financial realities we have to be cognizant of. So the Julius thing happens, and we were having countless conversations about numerous players and how to try to maximize that trade. We knew we had a little bit of a window prior to July 1st kicking in. But we just thought, specific to Melo, he's age appropriate. He's impossible to find. A point guard with size who makes other guys better. There's very few point guards in the NBA, period. You look at some of these other elite teams, they don't have, they're not Steve Nash or Bob Cousy at the one. I think he's a real point guard. His volume shooting is ridiculous. He's a guy that Coach Finch has always been a fan of. And he's been, his biggest issue has been injuries. His first couple of years in his league, they won a lot. They won quite more than we did after the draft year. And then the team went through a rough patch. And then last year, it seemed like they really figured a bunch of things out. So I think healthy, he's an elite guy, and he's an elite complement to what we have. We think Jaden McDaniels ready to take a monster step, like not a small step. When you have 32 and 10 in a closeout game, it's not by accident. So we didn't want to make a big trade and have someone come in that didn't positively impact what we had, our core. And certainly Ant and Jaden are the center of that core.
Your tenure here has been defined by big swings. Rudy, Cat trade, Rob Dillingham, LaMelo. Like, why do you think you are comfortable making these types of moves that are going to create a lot of scrutiny, that are going to be dissected, like, to the degree that they are?
I mean, they're all different. I mean, it's certainly there was a cap component of the Cat trade, right? For sure, right? There's the Rob, we were excited about. We started getting familiar with how these aprons were going to interact. And it was we thought that was a strong point guard class. But until you win, I don't know why you don't keep trying. Like, there's nothing more frustrating than getting on a call with a different team. And we have 4 untradeable guys. Like, damn, you guys won 37 games last year. That's wild. I got here. There was a veteran on the team when I got here, and he called me. We had a pre-season relationship, and he goes, "Hey man, well, I just want to know where I'm at." I'm like, "Well, Ant and Cat are not going anywhere, and everything else besides that, we'll figure it out." And he called me back like a week later, like, "Hey man, I'm upset. I'm not on an untradeable list." I'm like, "Come on, I could lie to you, man." So I think there is so in my opinion, and look, I haven't won anything, so it's unfair to me to judge others, but there's too much risk aversion. There's too much fear of how it's judged real time. Look, we're going to play probably a different brand of basketball. We've been huge at the 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. We'll still be huge at the 5 with Rudy, and we think Johan's going to be a monster. But it's going to be different, and there's going to be hiccups and ups and downs. But you're just constantly, you've heard me use this comparison. It's like, you're playing poker. Just keep flipping cards until hopefully you have pocket aces. And I think if you're not trying to play as many hands as possible, I don't think you're doing your job.
Do you get nervous in the moment? Like, holy cow, I don't know if this is, or like, how?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
My wife can probably attest. I'm consciously chill and relaxed.
Yeah.
Where it gets me is like 3 a.m. you wake up like, oh, what a stupid draft pick, man. Dude, we were right there, or we're taking this guy, and I dumbly didn't listen to my much smarter staff. So I think I'm consciously chill, but it's I watch a lot of documentaries at night, man. I'll say that.
Looking at this roster now as it's assembled, there is a question, I guess, about what you're going to do at the 4. Mm-hmm. How do you view that position right now, and maybe whatever opportunities you have to address that going forward, or does it need to be addressed in your eyes?
I mean, obviously, we have a rock star 1, a rock star 2, and Jaden is so good. He's only getting better and better. Rudy's the first ballot Hall of Famer. That 4 is, up for grabs to some degree. Mm-hmm. We have guys internally that we think can play that position. We think Coach Finch is a super creative guy, and he can coach different types of players, different brands of basketball. So we don't want to be so concerned with that, that we're missing all the good we have. We're pretty excited that the addition of Trey Lyles. He's a rotation guy for a playoff team in Sacramento. He chose to go to Spain last year. I think his high IQ brand of basketball can be beneficial. We're going to have like a lot of volume guys, right? Jaden will have more volume. LaMelo and Ant are going to have volume. Io is going to have a huge volume. So we need guys that can do more with less. We're talking to 1 or 2 free agents right now that could be intriguing. We were involved with LeBron.
You were.
He doesn't like breweries in Fridley, apparently. So, yeah, I don't think while it's certainly you obviously look at their depth chart, that's an area that we're a little thin at. We're not super concerned because we think some of the guys we have are going to take a major step up.
And, I mean, if you do look around the league, there are a lot of places. I mean, the Spurs were there last year without a traditional four, right? I mean, it seems like you guys kind of ushered in a big bully ball era, and maybe it's just changing a little bit over the last couple of years.
I think, look, every team has. The Knicks just won. I don't think they have a traditional point guard. I'm not sure Oklahoma City has a traditional point guard. You mentioned the Spurs; they don't really have a traditional power forward. So, you don't want to compare everything to what's out there. But I don't think there's a team out there with the perfect 1, perfect 2, perfect 3, perfect 4, perfect 5. But it'll be interesting to see how that position develops and how can we maybe play our style and make players react and make teams react instead of vice versa.
Do you think of any of the names that are still available? Is there a guy that could come in and be a starter like from day one that way, or how do you view your options?
It's up to Coach Finch. There's 1 or 2 guys I think stand out that they're still on the street. We've talked to extensively. I think it's really cool that all these guys we talk to, we have pretty limited flexibility financial right now, but they're all fired up about Minnesota. They're fired up about the team. They're fired up about playing with Ant, and Ant's been fantastic just being a recruiter. His constant crazy text messages. He's been awesome. So I think, there's 1 or 2 guys that are interesting, and I think it's neat that they're interested in us despite our real financial limitations.
Was there ever a point with LeBron where you're like, hey, like this is going to happen, or like how did you kind of ride that roller coaster? Yeah,
I mean, I think, I've known those guys forever, so I thought it was pretty consistent that they were really, really intrigued by the basketball fit. Like that was never a concern. So 1 or 2 nights we had these long conversations like, he's really fired up about the basketball fit. And then we didn't see the Jaylen Brown thing coming. I mean, that was kind of a left field thing. So you never want to get too excited, but we were encouraged by the dialogue was consistent, it was constant, there weren't any lapses, and it was always, hey, I really, playing with Ant, playing with Rudy, playing with Jaden, I think really intrigued him, especially playing between 2 elite defenders. So he went to a great team, a great organization. Thankfully, he's out of the West, but we gave our best shot. Unfortunately, he chose elsewhere.
You talked a little bit about this at the start, but Mike is gone, Joe is gone, Kyle is gone. Even Naz was a big presence in that locker room. What do you think? Ant has kind of gradually taken more steps as a vocal leader, but is this now the time for him kind of going into this season to really kind of take control of that part of the leadership aspect of this team right now?
Yeah, I think the key with leadership is it's got to be organic. Like it's a leadership fallacy, right? You only find leaders from good organizations, good teams. There's leaders on bad teams too. They just never get recognized. So I think with Ant, we want him to. His leadership is going to have to be, a more consistent approach to every game, every night. We don't want it to be fake or rah-rah. I mean, he's got a lot of rah-rah in him, but I think leadership, if it's not natural, it comes off as fake quickly, and our guys won't listen. So I think Ant's leadership is what he did in Paris. Hey, what do you mean you're not coming? Come on, let's go. And we're going to Paris. We're going to have a lot of fun. I think he is such a naturally positive guy. He wants to lift up his teammates. I think he has tremendous leadership ability, but he's got to find his own voice and find his own way. There's no rule book for leadership. Honestly, Ayo was a huge addition. He's so consistent emotionally. At times, our team is not most consistent emotionally, so it was a good addition. Really bright, seen a lot. He had more aggressive financial suitors. He chose to come back for less than what he had on the market. But it takes all of them. As you get older, the unfortunate, the Mike Conleys, the Joe Ingles, they're not here forever. So as these guys get older, they can't look around and point fingers. They have to look in the mirror and say, how can I ensure that this building is kind of following my lead?
We saw like how Ant gritted through the playoffs and played through discomfort. How is he doing physically this summer with his knees and everything?
He's great. I think nobody works harder, but I think he's so young still. He has so many minutes on his knees. There's these preventive things you got to do, things that you don't have to do when you're young, right? It's like you and me when we eat fried food or drink, right? Like you gotta
more
pick and
often
choose.
than not. Yeah.
So I think what happened, now he has to be more aware of what am I doing preventively all the time, not just if I bang my knee, let me be in the training room. So he's doing some great things this offseason. Rudy's been a great influence on him. I mean, that night was scary. Dante goes down. Could not have been more sad. It was Dante, his wife, his beautiful 2-year-old, and his dad and his son's just saying, hey, what's wrong, Daddy? What, do you have a boo-boo? Like, oh, God. And then Ant, kind of a funny moment from that evening, Ant comes in like 15 minutes later, and Dante's like, what the F are you doing in here, man? Like, and they're both going to get x-rayed, and they banging each other in the wheelchair.
Like Days of Thunder.
Yeah. And Ant looks at me and goes, man, we'd be a cold-ass wheelchair basketball team. So, look, our medical staff's amazing. We've missed the least amount of games the last 5 years. And it's not just what they're doing, but we're like a play organization. Play. You're here to play. Hopefully play 82. Well, we don't want to ever put guys in risk. We don't want to be an organization that allows guys to think it's okay to miss games or miss competing. Our training room's fantastic. And Ant's so young still. The wear and tear is coming. And I think that was a good chance for him to realize how tenuous the whole thing is, and he's had a great offseason with his body.
I think everyone in here came here for one question, and they all know that you are going into the last year of your contract.
It's big ratings bonanza for that.
That's right.
Sure. I thought it was a free beer from Alex and Mark.
It might be. Hey, you blew the surprise.
That's not known?
No, spoiler alert. But
it's called deflection.
Where do things stand for you in your terms with your contract and what you see as a future here in Minnesota?
That's right. Until I got here, no one ever knew my contract or.
I blame Sean's.
Yeah, well, I think that was your colleague as well at the time.
Right.
I think
that's why I kicked him out of the Athletic. That's why he's at ESPN now.
So we're super locked into Minnesota. Couldn't be more excited. We've had, some opportunities elsewhere, but this is kind of home, and we think the team's going to be special. I think the organization has been fantastic. I've been super lucky. Our ownership is just committed to winning. I mean, what we saw in draft night to go from a very different place economically, right? From in 48 hours, I think speaks to their desire to win it all. So just focused on trying to ensure that we can finally kind of get over the hump and at some point get to the finals and see if we can't finally bring a parade to Minnesota. But this place has been awesome, and hope we're here for a long time.
I know Mark, Lori, and Alex Rodriguez have been here for a while, but like last year was their first full year in control. What did you learn about working with them in that capacity where, Glenn wasn't there anymore and it was just those two?
I was lucky when I got here. It was kind of a blended family, and then sometimes blended families
went really well. Nothing but smooth. It was totally easy. Yeah.
But Alex is fantastic because he has such a innate ability to read a locker room, right? He knows sports, and whether it's soccer, or football, or basketball, the locker room's the locker room. He can sense team moods, and he's always positive. He has a great ability to read what the team needs at that point. He has a great ability to call me or Finchy like, hey, we're good, and he's super, super aggressive. How he played, how he's attacked off the field, I think that's reflective of how he is every day. And he's a really curious guy. I think probably the most impressive thing about Alex is, he's a larger-than-life guy, but he'll meet, a friend from back home, and he'll talk half an hour about his job, and he's really curious. So he attacks basketball in that exact way. We text constantly about this guy or that guy. So his curiosity, his work ethic, and his ability to understand. He's won a level I've never won at. Right? He's won championships. Never won a championship. Has been A+, and it's been fantastic. And it's really it's encouraging and it's motivating. Mark is super smart, and then there's not a nicer guy in the world. Really curious, really numbers driven. So we get on these text chains sometimes, and we're all over the place. Really, he wants to be disruptive, whether it's in business or in basketball. So I think what's coolest about those guys is their aggression, their commitment to try to win the highest level, and they're completely unafraid to fail, which is really cool and really encouraging for a guy like myself. That's all you can ask.
And as Tim said, they are generous as well. And so we're going to take a 10-minute break here for all y'all to go and get some beers. If you have an orange ticket, that is a free beer from Mark Lowry and Alex Rodriguez. So cash that in. And we will be back 10-15 minutes for a second segment with Tim Connelly. We'll bring up Matt Lloyd as well. And we'll finish with some Q&A after that. So thanks, everyone.
Hey, it's Lee for Aquarius Home Services, your independent authorized Connecticut dealer. This summer, give your home the worry-free water you'll enjoy for years to come. Aquarius has extended their summer trade-in and trade-up sale through August. Trade in your old softener and get $500 off a new Connecticut system. Goodbye to hard water, rust stains, and bottled water. Hello, softer water, cleaner fixtures, and purified drinking water that I love. Schedule your free water test at AquariusHomeservices.com.
If you're in the market for a new luxury vehicle, look no further than our good friend Charlie Swanson at Lexus. Whether you're on the west or the east side of the Twin Cities, they've got you covered with two great locations, Lexus of Wayzata and Lexus of Maplewood. Check out the all-new Lexus TX, a spacious SUV with 3 rows of seating and plenty of room for all your gear. Head over to lexusofwayzata.com or lexusofmaplewood.com for details and to find your next ride today. For the true Minnesota Lynx fan, this is definitely worth checking out. Wings Credit Union, the official credit union partner of the Minnesota Lynx and Timberwolves, now has a Lynx-branded debit card that comes with some great fan perks. Open any Wings checking account, choose the Lynx debit card, and every time you use it, you'll have a chance to win tickets to a Lynx home game or autographed merchandise. You can also score discounts on concessions at Target Center and get access to exclusive ticket offers throughout the season. So if you're looking for an easy way to show your Lynx pride every day, this is it. Upgrade your banking game, support Minnesota Hoops, and head to wingscu.com/Lynx to open your account today. Wings Credit Union is insured by NCUA. Membership is required. Account requires an associated Wings Lynx debit card. All right. We'll get ready. We'll get going here for segment 2 of the Jon Krawczynski Show here at Talk North and at Forgotten Star Brewery in Fridley. What a venue. This has been super awesome to have you all out here. Thanks again to Tim Connelly, President of Basketball Operations. And everyone welcome Wolves General Manager Matt Lloyd to the
Hey, I have not seen this many Wolves fans in one place since Nate Bubis' wedding.
I heard it was epic.
It was epic.
Oh my goodness. We had the first segment was all Wolves all the time. We'll have a little fun with this segment at first. And so both of you guys are dyed-in-the-wool kind of scouts, came up all the hard way. And I wanted to kind of first get Tim first for you. Give me one of your favorite on-the-road scouting stories that just kind of sticks out when you think about beating the backwoods in Europe or wherever over the years.
Not safe for work.
No, sorry. Please. Yeah, it's all good here.
I'm running a million stories through my head and seeing what's permissible in this. We had a funny one with Matt. People will be shocked to hear Matt and I have fairly different worldviews at times. Like, I get to the airport for a 5 o'clock flight at 4:51, and Matt gets there at
1:30.
Yeah. So we were scouting in Puerto Rico, and we rented a car. A third colleague of ours, this guy Adam Stein, works at the Heat. He's a great guy, fantastic at his job, pretty funny traveler. He always thinks he knows everything. So this is back in the day when you get the rental car and you have like the GPS. And,
and it was my rental car, for the record.
Yes. And Matt was nervous when anything, we're all different teams. We're all just trying to find our way. And we're like, hey, we got 2 hours. Let's check out this cool rainforest in UK. It looks cool. So we're driving. There's a sign the size of this building, and UK rainforest. And the dude Adam goes, no, this way's better. I'm like, I don't know, man.
He's never been to Puerto Rico before.
Yeah. That sign seems pretty cool. Like, it seems like it's kind of meant for us. We're tourists. We're gonna in UK. Let's check it. No. Here's my budget thing. Let's go here. It's a shortcut. We take a shortcut. As we're driving, the roads are getting smaller and more narrow. And there's a couple guys drive by on dirt bikes with machetes, and they didn't look super happy to see us wherever we were. We get to a dead end, and a couple kind of sketchy houses, right? And I forgot who was driving, but someone backs up. It sounds like something happened that wasn't really positive.
To a dog.
No, I don't know. I don't think it was a dog. I think it was
maybe a skunk.
Back up. Now it's not a couple guys on dirt bikes. Now it's like 5 or 6 guys that don't look super happy. Where we end up, we're somewhere. Probably they were growing a product that's now legal that wasn't legal at the time, and clearly the car is messed up. And I think I was driving. I'm like, bum, 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 bum. I'm like, do you feel that? Matt's like, I don't feel anything. I'm like, dude, you got to feel that, dude. Like, we're going to pull over. Do not pull over. Do not pull over. We kind of finally get out of it. We get to back to civilization, and the car's a wreck. The whole side of the car's off. And he's flipping out.
There's an undercarriage that's being dragged along the bottom of the car.
So we pull up to some hotel, and the hotel charges parking. And the third guy we're with, Adam, goes, dude, I wouldn't pay that parking. And I go, I'll pay $1,000 to park right now.
You did say
Just
that.
get me out of this car. These guys returned. I believe you were with the Bulls at the time.
Yep.
They returned the car in the San Juan Airport with the bad part facing out, and I don't think they ever got charged for
Not
it.
one charge, not one dime. Not one dime.
Yeah.
And we saw the rainforest for maybe 30 seconds.
Yes. Yeah. Completely true,
Yeah.
unembellished story.
Yep.
But both of you like kind of really beat the bushes like in all sorts of remote areas to find talent. What's sort of the process like to identify, hey, we're going to go to this outpost in Lithuania to go figure out and see a player that we like or might be something?
Yeah, I think we both kind of grew up as scouts. I mean, we met in 2005 sitting next to each other at a DePaul game. So, and we were the two same age people on the road, and no one else was our age. And we just that's kind of how we grew up. So that romanticized part of the job has been kind of taken away by analytics and taken away by film, and there's still opportunities to beat the bushes and find advantages. And luckily, he's one of the best in the world at doing it.
So for just a little bit of pop culture, favorite movie that your go-to, like that you watch when you need an uptick?
Oh, geez. I mean, probably Usual Suspects. I mean, I'm dating myself.
Even if you know the end to it.
Yeah, it's still fun. It's still great acting. I mean, I like documentaries. That's kind of my thing right now. Dumb and Dumber. Again, I'm showing that I'm
Finchy likes that too. That's a Finchy favorite.
showing that I'm 49, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably those two.
Yeah. How about you?
I think, let's see. I think in 1983, the Empire Strikes Back came out, and I went and saw it with my mom, and it just reminds me of standing in line that day. That's why it's my favorite movie. It's
He loves the superhero movies.
yeah,
Oh, okay. You're big time Marvel and all that.
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Charitable causes that you have. I know. Do you have you're going to do the ping pong tournament again this year? Or
We hope to do the ping pong thing. We have, actually, my buddy Matt Mathune's over here. He introduces really cool on Northside Boxing Club. They're doing amazing things in North Minneapolis, not just with boxing, but also feeding 50, 60 people a day. So Google Northside Boxing Club. It's awesome. We've been very fortunate to meet Andrew Dayton at Constellation. They're a local charity. They're doing really cool things. They're using analytics to identify high-performing charities, and it's much easier for them to raise money when they say, look at the impact they're having in the community. We've worked with a bunch of Keystone, and I'll yell at my wife. I forgot the
come on
name.
up, Nega. Let's go.
Yeah, we've been great. My wife is the driving force. We're so lucky. We have a lifestyle that we didn't grow up in the same lifestyle, so we want to ensure that we're a real part of the community. But this, as mentioned when the first segment, there's just so many people here that care and actually doing it, not just writing checks, but they're actually getting their hands dirty, being part of the community. But I think Constellation and Northside Boxing Club are the ones that most recently have really made an impact on us.
And before we get to what I really want to talk about with you two, tell me a little bit about the Forge, the volleyball team that you're involved with.
Yeah, it was. I know nothing about women's volleyball, but I thought it was a really cool sport. And around 2 years ago, me and Matt and my buddy Shane and Hugh McCutcheon is a legendary Minnesota coach. He coached the men's and women's Olympic team. We had beers, and I think women's volleyball is going to be awesome. I'm an idea guy and an executioner, as Matt can attest. I'm like, let's just do this, and then let's walk out. That's what happened in this instance. And we got really, really fortunate and got really cool local ownership. Kara's part of our group. The Wild are the main owners, the majority owners, and they launched last week. It's called the Minnesota Forge. They're going to play games at the Grand Casino Arena. Mm-hmm. I just think women's sports has been overlooked forever. I think women's volleyball is fascinating. I mean, they drew 96,000 for a Nebraska game. I've never lived in Big Ten country, and the Big Ten network,
huge.
If it's Penn State, Minnesota women's volleyball, I'm watching the whole thing. So it's super cool. We signed a bunch of really, really talented women. Again, I still don't know all the rules, but I know women's sports needs more attention. Women's sports has long been overlooked, and Yeah. I mean, look at the Mystic. The Lynx are the Mystics. That's my first. I worked at WDA a long time. I always look at the Lynx, what they're doing right now, right? And Olivia and the coaches crushed it, and Fee's getting healthy. I mean, they should have won it all 2 years ago. They rested and jobbed them that game in New York. But I think women's volleyball is really on the come, and check it out. It should be cool. It's great local ownership. I think it's a really fun product and really, really impressive group. The coach was at the Minnesota. All these connections to the U. I think it should be fun, and I think it's a sport that's just exploding, especially in Minnesota. I mean, the women's volleyball in Minnesota is so impressive.
Have you traded any of the Forge draft picks yet?
Probably, yeah. I think we did. I think we traded it for a Turkish center. When we started getting involved with this, Matt and I and a couple of other guys, I get on these Zoom calls. This woman is a really impressive player. She was playing in Japan, and it's like 5 in the morning, and wake up at 4:58, throw the hat on backwards, and they get to me like, listen, I have no idea, but it's a really cool ownership group, and Minnesota's awesome, and I think it might be more fun than Japan. And thankfully, she took a really poor sales pitch.
Absolutely. Matt, you talked about it a little bit earlier, but the way that analytics has sort of taken over the evaluation process, that's what I wanted to talk to you both about, something that was really unique when you drafted Jon Krawczynski. And if you can take us through the story a little bit, but essentially a lot of it came down to a clandestine workout in Chicago that was very much old school, let's evaluate things that way kind of, what struck you about the whole process?
Yeah, it's probably one of my all-time favorite scouting stories because it has that romanticized version of scouting and these clandestine workouts is kind of a thing of the past. And we were lucky enough, Del Demps, our colleague, he was the GM of the New Orleans Pelicans for a long time. He saw Jon early in the season that year, and he came back and was raving about him. And just incidentally enough, one of my close friends was one of the assistant coaches on the team Jon was playing at in Cheta Vita Olympia. And so we were tracking him the whole year, and Tim had been watching him, we had been watching him, and it came down, we played the Lakers in the playoffs, and when the playoffs was over, after the conference finals, we started heading into the teeth of the draft process. And Johan's agent was, at the time, was Wasserman. They've changed their name now, but a guy named Jelani Floyd, who was from Chicago and was just kind of an up-and-coming agent. And we were talking to him constantly about trying to get Johan in for a workout. His team was still playing. So he only had a very short window to work out. And we were very adamant about trying to get in front of Johan. We wanted to meet him and we wanted to see him work out. And he said, finally, the only thing that we could get done was, you guys come to Chicago and see him work out. So luckily enough, one of our staff members, Stephen Blevins, is a giant Cubs fan. And he had never sat in the bleachers of a Cubs game. So Tim came up with the idea, and we took him to the Cubs game. We sat in the bleachers, and the next day we
both have melanoma from the bleachers.
I had a sunstroke in the second inning. But the workout itself was one of the great experiences I'll always remember because we got 30 minutes with him on the floor. One of our other colleagues, Joe Connelly, he ran the workout. We brought one of our staff members, Alonzo Geehan. He participated in the workout, and then we really got to sit down with Johan, and that was the most endearing thing about the whole thing was because we had 30 minutes, we sat and talked to him, and we could see he was a really focused, driven, smart person, and that's one of his best qualities is that if you show him something, he can pick it up right away and adapt to it. We saw it in the workout, we saw it in the interview, and then we were lucky enough to get him.
Tim, was this just kind of like red meat for you as a dyed-in-the-wool scout to be able to kind of throw back and go to an in-person
I'm not
in the gym? And
again, I don't really like formality, and I think sports is supposed to have some level of romanticism and unknown, and his story was just really neat. I mean, he went to Ceta Vita to play second division. He played sparingly for the French national team. Most of these guys who get drafted from overseas, they're
pedigree guys.
They're under 16, under 18, under 20. You're aware of them. And this guy has played basketball for now 4.5 years. So what was cool about that day is Jelani's a great guy, and Matt had a good relationship with him, made it all happen. But it was just an empty, sweaty high school gym.
Fenwick High School in Chicago. It's this legendary old-time
High School, right?
Yeah, that's where.
And it's, Matt was probably hungover from the bleachers, probably. That was a joke.
But not really?
No, we had these great seats for the Cubs game, and Blevins goes, man, my dream's been to sit in the bleachers. So we're texting, let's getting bleacher seats, and I'm like,
it was one of the hottest days in Chicago, the history of Chicago.
You'd be shocked this Irish guy, the skin is not made for the sun, man. But what's cool in an industry at times to me that's become too much and become too corporate, become too, 18 cameras and 20 coaches, and it was just an old school. Alonzo G's on our staff. He's fantastic. He played in the league for 8 years. Can still probably play today. It was a hard workout. My brother Joe coached in the league for a long time, coached internationally. It was like and his agent, to his agent's credit, it was like go.
You guys can do whatever you want.
A lot of these times you get the calls like, you can only shoot or you're going to do this. It was like, hey, let's go. Spicy word. Let's go, man. You're trying to be a draft pick. And then at the end, I said, can you dunk from the free throw line? And he's just dripping sweat, so tired. He landed the day before. It's like, I can. I know I can. I said, I don't think you can. Maybe you can't jump the free throw line. Miss. Then the last time he jumped the free throw line. And then we all left to catch our flights. We're like, that dude's sick. Right?
Yeah,
we're like,
this is generally a very positivity-oriented front office. And the day of the draft, we were like sitting there sweating. Didn't think he was going to get there. And then when Hansen Yang went to Portland, we tried numerous ways to get up. He was going to trade another couple draft picks to try to get up to take him.
He's shocked to hear that, right? Yeah. I traded the rights to Matt Lloyd, JK's future rights.
Heading to Portland myself.
But again, he's got a long way to go. He showed great flashes last year. We think he can be a superhuman defender. He can guard. He guards Ant all the time in these one-on-one games. But he's got these unique physical tools that you see once every 10, 15 years. A lot of guys can run, or they can run and jump, or they can jump and move laterally. He can do all three, and he's just a sponge, and he's got the greatest mentor ever in Rudy. So we're excited about his future, but it was a really cool day and story.
Matt, how did you look at him as a guy that had played so little basketball and try to project and try to think about, okay, what he may not be right now, but what can he get to? What's that process
That's
like?
one of the another lost art kind of in terms of NBA front offices, is the ability for projection ability and to not really focus on what they are, but rather what they could be. And I mean that part is. It really was for me, I think, in addition to the incredible workout, was just sitting there and listening to him. I mean, he really didn't speak English, 3 months before he got to that workout. And to see the progression he's made over time, and to go to the G League Showcase, for example, and to watch him play there, and then to watch him play in the Summer League game he played here, we're just seeing this compounding ascension just based all on his work. So that's the most fascinating part, and I don't think it's fair to even put a ceiling on him. And it just, given where he's come from and where we think he can be, the combination of his intelligence and determination and his physical tools, as Tim said.
Well, and then the last thing on this is last year he's watched a lot. With the trades, there's now clear path for playing time. What do you want to see from him in year two, now that he's probably going to be playing a regular rotation role, whatever it's 18, 20, 16 minutes a night, whatever it is?
Yeah, I think just master what's asked by Coach Finch. I mean, he should be an elite rebounder. I think defensively, I think that's natural. It's instinctive to him. I think the league, quite frankly, might be surprised by his ability to kind of do some things off the bounce. He's got a really unique offensive game. But, our guys are so locked in on winning. So whatever, and Johan's obsessed with winning. So whatever allows us the best chance to win, and how we can fill that gap and hole, whatever Coach Finch asks, he's going to do.
We've had some interesting, the pickup games in the lead up to Summer League. One stood out to me. I mean, we're just kind of sitting there watching. He got a defensive rebound. He dribbled the length of the floor, and he changed direction his dribble 2 times and dunked on 2 guys. So again, we're just seeing this rolling ball down the hill of his player development catching up to his tools right now, and he's 21 years old, and he just got his driver's license, by the way. So if you see an inordinately tall guy driving around the Northeast, and he didn't know what the yield sign was, by the way, for him when he took his driver's test. So
the roundabouts are going to be tough.
Yeah. Kudos to Dell Demps, who drove with him a bunch. That's the unseen part of the job.
Yes.
Last thing as we wrap up the segment, just when you look at what this team can expect to do this season, what do you both see for entering training camp and the belief of what this team ultimately can become?
After you.
Look, every year I think we're going to win the championship. So, Mo for 30 thus far. In that,
I picked
that
you guys last year. I did preseason. It didn't work out.
Look, we've had this, really really strong run. I don't think it's by accident. I think we're one of 2 teams to win playoff series in 3 consecutive years. We have an elite, you know, we think could be one of the top, handful of 2 guards of all time, Anthony Edwards. Jay McDaniels, his role is going to be even bigger, and he's shown with more responsibility, more opportunity. He's up to that. I think our rim protection with Rudy and Yohan will continue to be elite, and I think we're fortunate. Again, it could be rose-colored glasses that we're getting Melo at the right time. We've seen a lot of basketball. He's had these wonky injuries. It's not like he has one specific chronic injury. He's super fired up. I think we have depth. We have guys that are multi-position players. Able to retain Io is great. We have a fantastic coaching staff led by Chris Finch. And why not us? I don't think it's been a different champion for a long time now.
8 years in a row.
Yeah. I really thought, if we won, if we went 1-1 versus Dallas, I thought we had a chance to win the championship. And then we're down 20 versus Denver in Game 7, and we make this. So it's not linear. It's can you win enough in the Western Conference is brutal. Can you be a top 6 team? Hopefully we're a top 4 team. I think with our home court advantage, the Target Center is just so loud and so raucous. And then it's matchups and injuries, right? We saw it every year. It's, are you healthy enough? Are you resilient enough to win it all? But I think we have a real chance. I think there's only 5 or 6 rooms in the league that really think they have a chance, and we're one of them.
Yeah, I would say that everything he just said is absolutely right. And then just the environment that's created within the building on a day-to-day basis. The vibes are high, and the confidence that is infused into the players and into the coaching staff and into the front office by Tim in particular, that's the thing that has led us to all the success over the last 4 years. And in the situation we're in now, I would expect that to take off even further, because Melo comes in every day, and Tim addressed it in the first second. He comes in every day has a good day. Mm-hmm. He lights the building up when he walks in every day, and Anthony's like that too. So those two, with his ability to communicate to the entire organization from top to bottom, why not us? It's the sky's the limit.
And I know you guys finally got rid of Micah, thankfully. You don't have to worry about him anymore. But
there's touch and go there.
There is.
Anyone who followed closely, it was.
There's a lot of continuity in the front office and in the coaching staff. What's it like for you just to have the same guys every year and kind of building on what you did?
I think it just leads to a lot more ability to communicate transparently and get things done. When you know the communication dynamic on a day-to-day basis is one where you can go in and be your genuine, authentic self every day and debate and then walk out together and then make the decision that's made and everyone support that decision. It's a really good feeling. And when you're winning, all that stuff tends to compound. And the environment that's been created there the last 4 years just accentuates it.
Can't thank you enough for doing this. Tim Connelly, Matt Lloyd. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We are going to take one more break. These guys can leave, and then if you want, there's Jon Krawczynski shows shirts right outside the door. Lamb Chops has hats and shirts and shorts. So go over there if you want one of these.
Mark and Alex buy one for the whole place?
I don't think that's it. No, these are a little more expensive than the beers.
Does anyone have an extra orange ticket so I can get a free beer?
And then I'll come back and do some Q&A. So if you have Wolves questions, we'll have a microphone over there. Take another 10, 15 minutes. Thank you all for coming. Thanks to these guys for showing up.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in 15 minutes.
Just minutes north of the North Loop, there's a tap room worth the drive. Forgotten Star Brewing lives inside a historic World War II manufacturing plant that once built artillery for the U.S. Navy, and today it pours some of the best beer in the Twin Cities. We're talking award-winning beers, sizzling smash burgers hot off the griddle, and one of the most beautiful patios you'll find anywhere in the metro. History under your feet, a cold pint in your hand, and room to soak up the sun. Forgotten Star Brewing, come find it. And just to emphasize on that, Jim, I know some people might think, oh, Fridley, where is that? It's so easy to get to from downtown. It's literally 2 minutes off of 694 in East River Road. And so I'm telling you, if you just make the trip on Sunday, come and see us, and you'll be shocked at how easy it is to get there and how close it is to everything. And then once you're there, how easy it is to park, to move around, to spread your wings a little bit, and to enjoy the show and enjoy the beer and the food that they have there. So I promise you, you will not regret it when you come to Forgotten Star to see our show, or just stop in on another night, grab a beer and watch a Wolves game, watch a Lynx game on TV when they have them on there.
All right, Forgotten Star is a great new partner, our greatest old partner, TSR Injury Law. They helped us get this thing off the ground. We will always be appreciative of that. But what you need to know is if you're injured, you should call 612-TSR-TIME, 612-TSR-TIME. You will deal with a lawyer. They are very good at winning cases. They will not charge you unless they win your case, and they win a lot of cases. That's why they have become such a big story in the Twin Cities. 612-TSR-TIME. Now here's John for True Vision Institute.
True Vision Institute in Bloomington. Go to True Vision. I've been a customer there and a client there for 2 years now. Had LASIK surgery 2 years ago. It's been great for me ever since. They take wonderful care of you from start to finish. Dr. Chu is incredible in guiding you through the procedure itself, which literally only takes minutes, and then a little bit of recovery time, and you are back seeing clearly, without the hassles of contacts and eyeglasses. So go to truevision.com, set up your consultation, then head down to True Vision in Bloomington and just get going with your vision correction from the great people at True Vision. Yeah, go to sglambchops.com, use the promo code JONK20 for 20% off any of the great casual wear that they have there. You're talking t-shirts, hats, hoodies, pants, sweaters, sweatshirts, everything they got that you need to feel good going out on the town or lounging around at home. They have it at sglambchops.com. If you come to our show at Forgotten Star on Sunday, they will be there as well with some exclusive Forgotten Star collab swag to go with. So come on out, see some of the stuff that Jordan and Craig have all set up for us as well. But it's a great company. They're invested in the local community. sglambchops.com and use the promo code JONK20 for 20% off everything you get at Lamb Chops.
All right. Let's finish up with the final segment here. And again, we have a microphone over here to ask questions. Line up. If you guys don't ask questions, this whole segment is not going to work very well. So we'll answer a few questions, and then we will get to the raffle. We have some cool t-shirts. We have some hats. We have tickets. We have some artwork to raffle off. So hopefully we can send a bunch of people home happy. A little quick thank you again to Aquarius Home Services, Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood, TSR Injury Law, True Vision, Lamb Chops, and Great Clips for all their support of this show. And so, hey, let's go ahead. What's your first question?
John,
yes?
I got a softball pitch for you, okay?
This guy came all the way from Vermont just to see this show.
So I'm going to make a statement, and you can defend it or deny it, okay?
All right.
Minnesota Timberwolves have the best vibe in the whole NBA.
It's pretty good right now, right? We're in Paris. You know, everyone's getting together in Paris. Like, LaMelo is healthy. Like, I do think that there's a ton of optimism and excitement about the group. I know that there was a lot of consternation about losing Nas. Like, he's obviously super popular, and I had a wonderful time getting to know him for 7 years. But I think that as soon as this team gets onto the court and LaMelo is throwing lobs to Jaden from, like, half court, I think people will get pretty excited about that as well. So I'm pretty optimistic about where this team can go and if they stay healthy and do that. But yeah, the vibes are great right now. You're right about that.
So, John, my question is, with LaMelo in the fold now, the Wolves have a ton of extra playmaking and shooting. At the same time, they lost a lot of front court size. So, in the context of matching up with OKC and San Antonio, how do you see that playing out?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's interesting that San Antonio just got Tobias Harris, right, as more of a prototypical four. So, prior to that, I would say that I'm not really all that worried about their size other than Wemby. But, you know, I think when you look at both OKC and San Antonio, maybe one of the solutions to kind of combating what they have is to shoot over the top of them and to outrun them in the break. And I think that you're going to see Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball and Jaden will shoot a lot and Io will shoot a lot. And so the thing that's going to be most intriguing to me about this season is it's going to be an entirely different Timberwolves team than you all have seen the last couple of years. And how they adapt to that is going to be an open question. But they are going to play so much faster. They're going to share the ball a lot more. They're going to shoot a lot more. And they're going to be better shooters and playmakers. And so I think that's the antidote for it. Like, they're not going to meet size with size and strength with strength. They're going to try and be a little faster. They're going to try and be a little more unselfish, and they're going to try and create really good shots. And I think LaMelo can really help with that.
So Tim Connelly made a very, very casual and brief reference to rose-colored glasses. And if you know the saying, rose-colored glasses only show beauty because they hide the truth. Looking forward to the season this year, what is one truth that you still feel is hidden and yet to be discovered with this squad?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest question mark right now, like as excited as everyone is and probably should be for LaMelo, it's can he stay healthy, number one, but also, like, how does he transition from 5-6 years of really low expectations and, you know, outside of the second half of last season, not playing any games that really had real stakes, to a team that now it's a disappointment if you go out in the second round. And so the early signs and what you talk to people about is like, no, he is a gym rat. He's been waiting for this opportunity. We'll see how that goes. But until, like, someone is in that crucible and, like, playing under the pressure of playoff games, of playing with the physicality that defenses play with in the playoffs, you just really don't know how they're going to adapt. And so I do think it's viable to ask the question, man, if LaMelo is so good and this young, why did Charlotte give up on him? And the Timberwolves really believe that they have the infrastructure around to make it happen, but there's not a lot of teams that do that with players of his caliber, with players of his status, with players of his accomplishment. And so it will be up to the Timberwolves, to their training staff, to this just whole kind of culture of this team that they've built to get him in here and have him really respond to that. And I think, like, as a person who's covered this team for 23 years now, to, like, talk about the Timberwolves as the team you come to and get serious about basketball is not like what we're used to saying prior to Ant's arrival, prior to Tim Connelly and Finch's arrival. It's like it was a dysfunctional place where players came and they got their money and they got out of here as soon as they could. And now it's you rely on all of the accomplishment and all of the experience that these guys have to raise the level of players that you're bringing in here, and that's a new dynamic. Go ahead, little man.
How do you feel about retiring Kevin Garnett's jersey?
I love it, right? It's been way too long. It should have happened a long time ago. I hope you're there for it. I've always said, like, the thing about it is that when you look up in the Target Center rafters and you look at the link side and you see all these championship banners and you see Waylon and Brunson and Augustus and Maya Moore and all of the people that are retired there, you look up there and you smile because it's like celebrating the past. And then you look up on the Timberwolves side and it's Malik Sealy and it's Flip, and you are shedding a tear because they are up there because of loss and because of sadness. And so to have 21 up there now to celebrate what he meant to this community, to this organization, and to have something to smile about is going to be really, really cool and long awaited. And maybe 32 will be up there eventually, and maybe a few others, and we'll see how that goes. But to get 21 up there is going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's it. Is there going to be any involvement that KG has with the organization, or is it just going to be retirement and then he goes back to his podcast?
Yeah, we will see, because, like, KG bounces to the beat of his own drum. No one tells him what to do. And so he will be here for that jersey retirement. I do think you will see him a little bit more than you did last year, but I don't anticipate, like, him coming to training camp and working with guys or things of that nature just yet. There is kind of a very business-like relationship with KG so far, and my hope And my belief is that once he gets here and has the jersey retirement and feels the love and gets everyone behind him again, maybe he will be a little bit more open about coming back and spending more time. But it's kind of like a gradual process from nothing and, out in the cold to just kind of like dipping your toe in the water. And we'll see if he jumps all the way into the deep end of the pool here soon.
Cool. Hey, Jon. So when you're talking to Tim and Matt, it came up about Jaden McDaniels' development and his the hope that he will take another step this season. Could you just talk more about where his ceiling's at coming into this next ceiling and if this next season, and if that ceiling has lowered at all over time as he's continued to develop as a player?
Yeah, I think it's a good question because it feels like the last couple of years we've come into a season and we've thought, no, this is the season that Jaden gets more shots, that he gets more usage in the offense, and that he really gets to take another step kind of down the road toward all-star status. And like every year something gets in the way. And last year, Julius Randle needed a lot of shots. Naz Reid needed a lot of shots. And now both of those guys are out. And it's clear, of course, that LaMelo is going to come in and need shots. But I actually do think that Jaden has the potential, as both Matt and Tim said, of benefiting the most from LaMelo's arrival. Because when you watch Charlotte play and the way that all of the guys feasted off of the looks that LaMelo gave them. Knippel, I think, shot 7% better from three with Jaden on the floor with LaMelo on the floor versus when he was off, and that's a huge disparity. And I think that with the way that Jaden cuts to the basket, the way that he moves without the ball, like that's all in LaMelo's wheelhouse. And last year with Ant running point guard, he did the best that he could, but he's not a natural playmaker that way. He probably missed some opportunities for Jaden that way, but when you know that ball is going to be flying around in the half court, I think that there's going to be more motivation for Jaden and Jalen Clark and a few of the other guys to move and make themselves available, and I think they're going to feast off of that. And so it would not surprise me to see Jaden up near 20 points a game, to see him shooting 41, 42% from three and getting really good looks and making things happen. And we saw what he did against Denver, and if they could just trick him to think that they play Denver every single night, then he's an all-star for sure. So we'll see how that goes.
So when it comes to the move, essentially to salary dump Randall in order to keep Ayo, how much of that do you think was the plan all along when it comes to the roster construction versus reactionary to their respective performances in the playoffs?
So I think that once the season ended, even with the injury to Ant, even with the injury to Dante, and Ayo was a little banged up too, there's a lot of excuses that you could look at and say, it just wasn't our year, unluckily. But I think there was also this perception of, hey, we've taken this bully ball, ISO-centric half-court offense to the logical conclusion of where we could go. And something has to change. And so I do think that there was a real belief that if we move Julius out, there is a little bit more opportunity for Ayo, which they really liked in the playoffs. And so that was calculated. Where I think that was a little less calculated and more lucky was that I don't know that they expected LaMelo Ball to become available. And so it would have been very interesting to see if Charlotte said, hey, we're riding this out and we're not trading LaMelo. Would there have been another option or alternative that they went after? Or would they have kind of looked at kind of regrouping and just seeing what this team was capable of with Naz as the starting four, with Ayo as a starting point guard, and just see what happens there? So there was definitely a conclusion that, hey, we've gone as far as we can and we got to change something up. And Ayo was always a part of it. He's going to be a big part of what they do going forward. Now, LaMelo was the one who was like, holy cow, we can get LaMelo Ball. Let's go do this. And maybe there's a little more fortune involved in that.
So something I look at in kind of the world of football is every time there's a Super Bowl winner, you see a lot of people doing the copycat stuff.
Yeah.
They try to copycat it. And the one thing I'm curious about with Tim Connelly's hyper-aggressive approach, trading all these draft assets and just trying to reshape the roster every year or two, how much with these new salary cap rules could that maybe become in vogue because you have to try different avenues in order to find success?
Yeah, I mean, like when you look at what the Knicks did, man, if you could get a guy like Karl Anthony Towns, like that would be awesome, right? Like, could we just like mimic that a little bit and see who we can? No, but I think there's something to that in terms of I know that a lot of fans look at things through a front office lens now, and you look at, holy cow, they've traded a lot of draft picks, and there's not a lot of future assets. I would be more concerned about that if Anthony Edwards was 29 and LaMelo Ball was 30 and Jaden McDaniels was 31, then you're at the end of these guys' run instead of maybe in the middle of it. And so, yes, they've given up some flexibility for future, but they also have a very young core that they're clearly building around. And I do think that, to your point, Tyler, like there may be a little bit of a swing away from draft pick fetishization of like, we just got to hoard all of these picks and stay flexible that way, towards there's a new team that wins the title every year. So if we think our window is open, let's go for it right now and let all of the rest shake out. And so the Wolves under Tim Connelly have been kind of on the front end with Rudy Gobert and Cat, with Julius Randle and Rudy, and they went bigger when everyone thought that was foolish and we're playing small ball. Maybe the next iteration in innovation is, we're not going to treat these draft picks as complete gold, especially if we're picking at the later end of the first round. We're going to go out and get proven commodities that can help us. And if it can be a 25-year-old point guard, like, it's a no-brainer.
Well, hello.
Well, hello, Colin. My cousin Colin, everyone. Say hello.
Hello. So you may know me more as a Excel Energy kind of guy.
Yes, I do. I don't know why you would do that, but go ahead.
So the last time I was in Target Center was October 11th of 2011.
And
that night was the last time I believe Muse was here.
Okay.
So my question would be easier if the other two were here. Is A-Rod going to take some pocket change from either Seattle or Fox News and give us a new Target Center, or are we going to just kind of put some money into what we have now?
Yeah, they are definitely good. They want to build a new arena. They have not announced anything yet in terms of space, in terms of where it's going to be, in terms of how it's going to fund. So we're going to wait to see all of that. The one thing that we do know is Matt Caldwell was on this show earlier this summer, and he said that they're going to build downtown, somewhere in downtown Minneapolis, which I think is the right move. And I think there's a lot of steps to go before you get to an idea, to a plan, to a real kind of dirt, shovels in the dirt and building. But the plan is to have a new arena, and maybe in the next several months we'll get a few more details about what exactly that looks like.
Thanks, guys. Hey, good job tonight.
Thank you.
Hey, John. First thing, I work at Princeton's Liquor in Maple Grove.
Let's go.
My boss said you might know about that.
Yes.
Princeton's Liquor in Maple Grove.
Let's go. Yes.
But my question is more just about the roster construction, because a lot of the bench spots seem to be a question mark. I'm just wondering, we haven't heard too much about Josh Green. Are you hearing anything about this or his role on the team?
So, yeah, I think that initially the belief was, okay, you get Josh Green in this deal with LaMelo, and as soon as they can package him and get him out for a true power forward, they will do that. There hasn't been that market available to them this summer, and I do think that there is more intrigue about who he is as a player than I think the average fan would have right now. And so, I liken it a little bit to when Nickeil Alexander-Walker came with Mike Conley in that deal, and you're like, Nickeil, he's kind of a throw-in. We'll see what happens, and he turns into, one of the most beloved Timberwolves of all time, and he puts in the work, and it turns out really well. So, given that he's in the final year of his deal, $14 million, maybe that creates a little bit more of an impetus to eventually trade him, which is still possible. But I do think that in the meantime, I think he can be more of an asset than people are kind of anticipating right now. I think he can actually help them guard multiple positions, hit open threes, and do enough to make himself useful. And maybe you keep him long term, or maybe, you know, in January, February, you say, all right, another team has a power forward that we really like. We're going to go and maybe they'll take a half a year of Josh Green instead of a full year.
Right, yeah. Flexibility.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yep.
Hi. I used to work at Parkway.
Let's go.
And I saw you there
Honk
a lot.
if you love Nas Reed.
I saw you there a lot.
Yeah.
But, I guess I'm just wondering, like, talking to Tim, how much does he take, like, the player's opinion into account when he's making a trade?
So the player himself, not a lot, their own opinion, and like he might. So with the LaMelo Ball trade, did he go to Ant and say, "Hey, we're thinking about this. Are you cool with it?" I think probably there was some level of conversation.
Yeah, that's
now
okay.
if Ant says absolutely not, and they still really believe in it, I think they would still do it. But Tim is very much a communicator, so he wants everyone to be happy. He wants everyone kind of rowing in the same direction, and specifically with Anthony Edwards, I do think that he gets a little bit more of the real download of what the plans are than, you know, say Jalen Clark does. But Tim's a big vibes guy. Like, he wants people to get along on the team, and Ant is also kind of reluctant to really go out there and say, hey, get rid of this guy, or we need this guy, because he leads by having everyone believe that he has their back in the locker room. And if he's kind of working behind the scenes to say, well, you know, we got to get rid of this guy or that, then it's a lot harder for him to be genuine in how he leads that way. And so there is some back and forth, but ultimately there's a lot of hard decisions that have to be made, include, like, they did not want to trade Nas Reed. Like, they just really didn't. And ultimately Charlotte really stuck to its guns and said, we need him for LaMelo, and so they did it. They would have preferred not to trade Cat, but they had the salary cap issues, and so they did it. And so I don't think either one of those were like super high on Ant's list to have go out. But you do what you have to do to make the best team around him and try and keep him happy for the long term.
Perfect. Thank you.
You got it.
Appreciate it.
You got some fans.
Hello. I'm just curious as to how you see Isaiah Evans carving out a role for himself on this team, given like DiVincenzo's injury, but also with how, you know, Coach Finch likes to play the younger players.
You mean doesn't like to play the younger players, right? Yeah.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of intrigue about Isaiah Evans. He's long. He's a really good shooter. He comes from a great program. I am not expecting him to be a rotation guy early. I would expect him to play a lot in Iowa. You're going to see a lot of Terrence Shannon, a lot of Io, a lot of Yohan, a lot of Jalen Clark, a lot of guys that Chris Finch knows. And so I could see down the road, or if there's injuries, Isaiah Evans getting more of a chance. But this is a team that's built to win right now, and Chris Finch is a guy who has shown that, you know, unless you are dynamic right away, he's going to prefer the veterans and the more experienced guys to win games as much as possible in the West. And so, you know, you could buy an Isaiah Evans jersey, but don't expect to wear it prominently for at least a year or so. But I think he could be a piece down the road for sure. Yep. All right, so with that said, thanks for all the questions, and thanks to everyone for coming out. Like, this is an amazing turnout, a great first impression with Forgotten Star, and so now we will raffle off some prizes and get to the main stuff here. So